to receive the information. Oh, it says excellent. It says we're live. Um, Amazing. This is so good. We are
Nice.
here. We are
Perfect.
finally here. Are we all here? It's me, it's Lina, and Lina. There should
And
be.
Dolina.
Yes,
Yeah.
I see everything now. I see Lina having a drink. Cool. We are here. We are here. It has been an adventure getting ready for today. But we've figured it out. We found a way, and here we are. Thank you so much for being here, Lena. Thank you to everyone joining us for Drawn Together 60 with Lina Coy. We have Stina, Carl, Sabra, Lewis, Kiki, Martina are here, and maybe some more people, and maybe some more will join. We're just 20 minutes late, but we'll get into this, and it will be great. I'll just see. I wonder how our layout is. If we, so what's going to happen now? Lena joined me and Shannon back in 2023, and we worked on Lena's portrait, and we're going to work on Lena's portrait again today.
Mm.
And it just looks like your face camera feed has dropped out. Um,
That's bad,
but
but it's fine.
that's that's bad, but we'll be able to see your work, and
That's what matters.
yeah, and maybe we can flip the camera around sometimes because it'd be wonderful to see you. You're so wonderful, so radiant. It comes through so much in your work, and yeah, I'm with the challenges that we've had today. I'm glad that we're able to be here now. However, this is going to play out. We're here. Thank you for being here, Lena.
No, well, thank you for having me despite my bad technology. Um, that's all I
um,
can say.
Outdated, perhaps, but the phone is doing well. Jess is here as well, and Rosie, Annette. So I'm gonna bring up some of your paintings. For those of you who are here or have watched the replay recently, you may be familiar with Lena's work, and perhaps you're a long-time fan and admirer of Lena and her work. Um, I'm going to bring up some of it. You may be familiar with it, and we'll just chat about it a bit. And I'm wondering, can you see what I see, Lena? When I start
Mm,
bringing up the pictures, will you be able to see that?
I don't know. Let's give it a
Let's
try.
see. So I've
Yes,
got.
I'm able to see what you're seeing.
All right, that's good. um, and if you feel like it, you could maybe before we start drawing and painting, we could have a look at you and your wonderful radiant face. And maybe if we're just working with this one camera, then we would just alternate between drawing and you
Yeah,
and see how we go. So
we can do that. Yeah. Hold
yeah, very
on.
cool.
Give me just.
So last
Yeah,
time
technology is fine. Hold on. Hold on.
last time we had a chat, you were, I believe, you were still in Bogota, and
Yes.
we were all excited about your preparations for heading to the States, and it's really been amazing watching what you've been doing, and it seems like you've been doing so much. Really busy in your artistry and exhibitions and books and all sorts of things. Um, yeah, and it's just been super fun following you and your work and your adventure. And yeah, really looking forward to whatever you have to share with us today about how that experience has been for you. Because I imagine it's pretty intense moving to a new country, particularly that country, perhaps. And and it's yeah, I because we talked about traveling, and you had lived in different countries and studied
Yeah.
and been making art in different places.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wonder how it is for you now, um, are you like a couple years in to being in the
It's
States
it
now?
it's been hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's been
Yeah, yeah,
hard.
yeah.
I've been in the US. It it feels like it has been a lifetime, but it
Hmm.
really hasn't been that long, to be honest. It's like in May, it's gonna be 2 years, so it's not even 2 years now. So it's like a year and 9 months, maybe 8 months.
Yeah,
But it feels like I've lived here for a lifetime already.
yeah,
Because when I lived in different countries, I knew that I wasn't gonna stay in these countries, like I knew that uh I'm gonna try to yeah, hold on.
yeah. Let,
So I
let's look
knew
at you.
that yeah, yeah. I knew that I wasn't gonna stay in these countries and that mm, I I had I didn't have to build like an entire life when I was there in the other countries. Like even when I lived in the other countries, I lived in Chile for a year and a half and I lived in Spain for 2 years and I haven't been in the US that much. It's different this time because now I know that this is the country that I decided to build a life in.
Hmm.
So it's been totally different. It's been buying two cars and trying to figure out rent and trying to figure out like a citizenship, and it's not just how long I can stay, which I feel like that's how it felt before, you know but
Hmm.
now it's more like how am I gonna build a life in this country.
Yeah.
And it's hard, not because it's the States, it's because being an immigrant just itself is really, really hard. Um, and I didn't know how hard it was gonna be in terms of creativity. Like
Hmm.
I thought that just because I already had figured out like a creative process and a way to do things, and I already had figured out the way that I do things. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was talking to a friend like at the end of the year, and I was telling her for in 2025 it was such a hard year creativity in terms of creativity. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
didn't paint that much. I didn't draw that much. I think I painted for like I want to say I painted like six things. Like I did like six drawings or six paintings. And for a person that has been doing a living out of art, oh hey, I figured out four things. Nice. There you go. So
Cool.
yeah, so for a person that has been living out of art for the past 10 or 12 years, um well, it's hard because the only jobs that I knew were art related. And then I only saw myself as an artist. You know what I mean? It's not that I
Yeah, yeah.
didn't know that I had other skills, it's that when you are new in another country, in another culture, in another language, then you no longer know who you are anymore. You lose perspective of who you are.
Hmm.
And so I had a particular creative process for the past 10 years. And then I got into a new country and I didn't recognize myself anymore. So the old creative process wasn't working for me anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tried to paint the way that I used to do it, but that wasn't me anymore. That was an old person, like another person that I don't recognize and I don't know anymore.
Hmm.
So I think it's not that it was a mistake or that I was doing things wrong. It's the fact um that it didn't align with who I am, you know? Um it's been hard. So I did a lot of things at the same time. So it was like trying to finish my 20s and then get a new life in a new country, and then trying to figure out who I am besides art, and then a new language, a new everything in just a year. So it's like I try to live like, oh my God, like six lives in just 1 year. You know how
Mm-hmm.
hard that is? Like, it was bad. And then
Yeah.
I was blaming myself for not being able to paint or draw or
Mm-hmm.
anything. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I encountered myself with not being able to paint or draw anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was giving myself a hard time, but it was because I was like in survivor mode, like I put myself into such rough situations that it was like everybody around me were like, of course, you're not being able to do art. But I was like, art, it used to be my coping mechanisms in order
Mm-hmm.
to live, like I did art because it was what helped me to get through life. And now, because I'm not well and I'm not doing okay, I'm not even able to do my coping mechanisms. So
Mm.
what do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like a limbo. It was weird. It's been weird being on the States, but I still like it. I loved it. In perspective, there's a lot of things and a lot of opportunities that I got. Like for example, I got two exhibitions in Manhattan last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the first exhibition that I did in the US. Like I've never had an exhibition in the US before. And now I did two in Manhattan already without like within 1 year and a half. So that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then I was telling you about like uh the way that I'm able to be in these countries because I was granted with a residence that it's called permanent residence for aliens with extraordinary abilities. And it was like it's huge. You know what I mean? It's huge, but I was taking it for granted. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey, I was able to prove to a lot of people that I am someone with extraordinary ability in art. Then
Yeah.
why I'm not being able to see that? Why I don't feel like an extraordinary person,
Yeah.
but everybody else sees that. Like yeah, it's just weird trying to, connect everything.
Mm. Yeah. Um, yeah. And it's amazing that you've been able to. Um, yeah. It's an interesting title. Like, did you say it was someone with extraordinary artistic ability, and that is the grounds on which you're granted a visa? Um,
It's yeah, it's scary. Like when they told me about that, it's not a visa. Like it's like an actual residence, and it's a way to be a citizen. And I was like, what do you mean that somebody is gonna judge whether I deserve to be a citizen because of my art? Like
mm-hmm.
I'm like, is that even possible? And then I got it, and then it was weird. It was like, yeah, maybe I did a lot of things in my life, because I had to present like an entire case of 600 pages, which I work in my first year in the States. It was like an entire year gathering like all the proof, like all the interviews and books and shows and awards and prizes and things that I did in my career as an artist. Like it's been 10 years when I've done a lot in 10 years, but I'm never able to recognize to myself that I've done all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that now I have a residence that it's cool that I'm someone with extraordinary ability in arts, I still don't see it. And I think it's kind of sad, but we're working in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds. Yeah. What a process to yeah, all the work that goes into being able to be there, and then yeah, be interesting now. Like you were saying, you recently started doing daily TikTok live streams, and you had said that you really enjoyed that because it got you back to just having a regular
Mhm.
practice and
Yeah, yeah, because well, like I was telling you, uh, the only thing I ever knew was like art, right? Like
hmm
art, like art jobs, and I don't know, like an art seller, and then an art teacher, and then an art assistant, in a gallery or for artists or whatever. So that's the only thing I knew was being an artist. And then when I got to this country, of course, like immigrant in the US, you know that the first job that you're gonna get in here, it's gonna be rough. Like that's
hmm
something that a lot of movies can tell you.
yeah,
A lot of like the news and the social media and whatever, or if not, a lot of movies can tell you that the first job that you actually get in this country, it's going to be a rough job because it's basically just a job that is getting you to stay here or just learn your way through this country. And I think that it doesn't just apply for this country. I believe like in any country, like
hmm
when you're an immigrant, um you're trying, like I said, to build a life for yourself. You're trying to um because you are taken away from your comfort zone, which is your language and your culture and your family and everything you ever known for your entire life. So as an immigrant, any job that you're gonna get at first is gonna be like rough, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I was working at a resort for the past 2 years, and yeah, it's like I went from painting and drawing every single day because that's the thing that I love and enjoy and know,
hmm
to cleaning bathrooms every single day.
yeah, yeah,
And it was hard because I couldn't say no, because that's like it was my way into being here. It was my way to be here, and I'm very grateful for that job because it gave me the possibility to uh, pay for my process, which was very expensive. Everything in this country is expensive,
hmm
and you know, being able to clean bathrooms and whatever, it gave me the possibility to get a car and then move out of the state and build a new life, and like, and just surviving the daily life.
hmm
But that meant that I spent 2 years without drawing or painting.
yeah,
And like I'm saying, it's at first it was because I didn't have the time to paint or draw, right?
yeah,
And then I realized that it wasn't just that, it was the fact that I didn't know how to paint or draw anymore. Like I didn't know how to approach a painting. I didn't know how to start. Then I just froze, and I got scared, and I'm like, so but I love art. Art is my life. I'm someone with extraordinary ability in arts, and then I have all this path and all this career, and now I can even draw or paint.
hmm
It was so hard. Like it's hard. So
yeah,
this job, like, well, not like now that I moved out of the state and gave myself the opportunity to start over, the TikTok lives, they basically, because I remember that back in 2020 and 2021, or even in 2023 when we did the first episode, um I used to go live very often, and because I enjoy this, I enjoy talking with other artists while I'm drawing. You know, like
Yeah, yeah,
I love that. I think that you get meaningful conversation that they stick with you over time. So I like that. Um, but yeah, so I think maybe that's a way that I'm doing to re-know myself, like trying to get to know my creative process again.
yeah. I wonder,
Because it's been hard.
from the time between you had been studying, yeah, when did you stop studying art? Because you had, I
Um,
just wondering about like the art school. I didn't go to art school, but I remember I went to university, studied architecture, and when you're
yeah,
yeah, being surrounded by people who are doing it, and like it's like
yeah, yeah,
what's so
yeah.
fun about this is because how we're, we can both do our thing and connect through this process and talk through all this stuff. And being in a context where there's really a lot of people around who are experiencing something similar, and then also
Mhm.
it's having someone in the context of studying who's like, this is what you're going to do, and having that just like a framework that's created to then there are certain things which is like, okay, this is what's going to be done, what has to be done, and then it's kind of relaxing in a way that you can just create into that, because that's like a container for your creativity is kind of prepared. And it sounds like amongst all of the things of yeah, starting a life in the States or in a new country anywhere. Yeah, how to I'm just wondering about like how you that can now create like a that container within which the framework
Mhm.
where you have a context to create and make stuff and
Yeah,
um,
I mean that's it's nice that you bring that up because um so I feel and I believe that the people and the context that you're surrounded with, it helps you a lot, right?
yeah,
So that's also the thing that I finished art school back in 2021. It's been a couple of years now.
yeah,
um and then but you're right, like um you are surrounded with people that like to we're all going through this, right? But then even in Colombia, while I wasn't doing art school, I had an art community. Like if I wanted to, I don't know, like go to exhibitions and then whatever, whenever I wanted to feel surrounded by artists that were trying to just figure out a way into the art world, I knew where to go. Like I already had an art community back at home. But that's also the thing here, like you don't know anything and then you have to build a new community. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's like starting over in every single sense. So here, where I used to live, I used to live in a very, very small town where there was nothing going around. Like nobody. It was like I don't know, half hour. It was a half-hour drive from the nearest Walmart,
okay,
so you can tell. Like I was literally isolated in the woods, and I didn't have the chance to be surrounded by culture and art or just people that that help me being back into the creative world,
yeah,
right?
mm-hmm.
So that also influenced a lot on me not being able to do art every single day. But it's hard because it's like it's not I don't want to say that it's like you're always missing home, because it's not like that. It's
Mm,
more like you are missing what you already know, like your comfort zone, right?
yeah,
So your comfort zone, it's, oh, this cafe and this museum or this whatever, and it's all back in your old country, and
Mm-hmm.
now you have to create your own comfort zone in this environment where you're constantly in survivor mode.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible, because I'm definitely building that, and there's ways, like, just it just takes a Google research to be like,
Yeah.
uh yeah, like literally, I live here in Maryland, in Baltimore now. It took me, I got here like less than a month ago, and it took me a fast Google research a couple of weeks ago. Um, just being like, uh, museums in Baltimore, or art cafes in Baltimore, or just like and I found like a lot of great things. So it's just everything is just hard. Like, you're
Yeah.
dealing with so much all the time that time is just not enough. And sometimes it's not even about time, it's the fact that sometimes I do not even have the strength to do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's
We
like
just
I'm already grieving an entire culture, an entire family, an entire language. Like, I'm grieving all the time, so
yeah.
it's hard to go through so much grief at the same time.
Yeah, we just got a comment in the chat from Baltimore Hoop Love, 1762. Wait, hey, I'm in Baltimore, and I saw that Jess was here, who may also be Baltimore Hoop Love. um, but yeah, when you said Baltimore, it's like, oh, Jess is in Baltimore. Um,
Cool,
but
cool. I
Jess is
love to.
amazing.
I want to connect with people in Baltimore. I want to
Yeah,
be like, I wanna meet up with artists in Baltimore and say like, hey, let's just hang out in a park and draw. I want to do that so bad, because that's what I used to do in Colombia. But now it's like I just got here a couple of
yeah,
weeks ago.
cool. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, get in touch with Jess. Oh, you've only just been there for a couple of weeks, so it's really a fresh start. Oh yeah, that's yeah, definitely get in touch with Jess.
Nice. Cool.
Um,
Cool. Cool.
that's so cool. There are 17 people in the chat, and Jess
Oh,
from Baltimore is here.
hi, people.
Oh, that's so cool. Um, yeah, and if anyone has anything to say, to contribute, any thoughts, any uh, resonance or experience from like building up a life somewhere new, or about art. Um, if there's anything you'd like to say, those of you watching, then please speak up in the chat, and we'll just continue to draw. And your drawing is already looking so cool. The what?
It's funny because I hate it, but I hate it, but that's the point, like,
Yeah,
be
just
like drawing live. That's the beauty of drawing live. It's like,
yeah, yeah,
I hate it, but I have to draw. So
yeah,
it's like, it's not like I can quit. I'm drawing live with a bunch of people drawing live too. It's like I can quit. I can be the quitter. I can be the one like, oh, I'm not feeling like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's interesting to put yourself in a place like, and this thing of like creating a context to practice, to make something, and that like the live streaming, and for almost 6 years now I've been hosting weekly sessions, and that's really, before that everything was very open. It's kind of like, what am I going to do? When am I going to do
Hmm.
it? What am I going to? What's the topic? And I remember like thinking about what you were saying about like finding your way back to how you want to create or what you want to create.
Hmm.
That I Yeah, I can remember. Um,
Yeah, like the live streams are helping a lot, because I don't know, I don't know what it was, but being in this country definitely mess with my ADHD, and like I have zero attention now, and I'm working on it every day. Like, I'm
okay.
trying to be more focused, and even, well, like, when I'm driving, I don't listen to music anymore. I try to listen to audiobooks so I can actually focus on something and not just like,
Hmm.
just, yeah. So being like drawing live, it's helping me to put my entire attention to drawing and painting and whatever
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
creatively. So that's nice. I like it.
Yeah. Cool. Um,
Yeah. So being an artist, like being an immigrant, it's hard, but
yeah.
being
Yeah.
an immigrant artist, it's harder. So yeah.
Yeah. Stina said earlier in the chat, hard not to get political today. And I also, talking to you, um, like I've seen something that Camilo shared, that he's been having a hard time processing what's going on. And I think, like, for for, for me from afar, when I open up Instagram, it just looks so intense, what's happening in the
Yeah.
States at the moment. And I've heard from a few friends that it is quite unsettling, particularly, um, yeah, being an immigrant at the moment. And so it was like
Yeah.
it was hard and challenging anyway. um, like just the before the kind of the intensity of what's happening at the moment, like it was already hard. Um, and I was just wondering, like it sounds like it was a struggle anyway. Are you are you also, yeah, what's your experience of like what's happening right now? Because
I'm so this is I don't know how it sounds, but I literally try to live day by day.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
because I know what social media can do with our brains with and the news and then
mm-hmm,
everything. It's like I I'm already like very scared of being here, even though like I'm a lawful resident. I like I'm scared in every way. Like
yeah, yeah,
it's not only about the politics of it. It's about the people too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people can be like, hey, just get out of here, and then go back to your country and whatever, and then it's like it's always it's scary
yeah,
to be an outsider of a country, right?
yeah, yeah,
So what I try to do is that I try to not to think about it that much,
mm-hmm,
honestly. I i try not to look at like the patrols. I like to I don't stare at anything. I don't look up anything on social media. I don't look anything in the news. Like it's already very hard for me
yeah,
to survive my mental health as it is. So if I
mm-hmm,
put myself into the situation of researching and actually giving it a second thought of the context that I'm living right now, I know that I wouldn't be able to, to go outside my house. So I try not to think
yeah,
it twice, but it's definitely hard. Like, for example, for me, I don't want to say that it's easier because it's not, but the language barrier, it's definitely something. Like,
mm-hmm,
even in my
mm-hmm,
old job and in my current situation, like, it's a little bit more easy for me because I speak the language very
yeah,
good,
yeah,
right? But most of my friends, they don't speak English. So I have to be the interpreter. I have to be the translator. And then I I've had to witness people being discouraging to them because I don't want to say racist because it's not like they're racist. It's because it's more like they don't even care of like, oh, I'm not even gonna put an effort on
yeah,
talking to you. You know what I mean? And they're not racist. It's just like I'm not even gonna try.
yeah.
Like
But
Lina is
it's
here, she can speak English, she can explain things to you. So I'm not even gonna put the effort. So yeah. And that doesn't mean they're completely racist because they used to treat them so good and you know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm,
it wasn't racism, but it was just like injustice because I know that I I am treated differently in a lot of contexts, like at the supermarket or at the store or uh at any customer service thing or at any jobs, I'm being treated differently because I am able to communicate fluently, but most of my friends are not.
Hmm.
So that's kind of, it's hard. It's just painful to watch. Like,
Yeah.
what I try to do is that I really try to help anybody who can communicate. I really try to do it, but it's it's hard. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I do it out of heart, but it's really hard to try to have a conversation and engage into the conversation and being, and and have to be the interpreter and then the translator, and then I have to work like twice as harder or twice as harder because I don't want my friends to feel left out, or
Hmm.
I don't want to feel anybody to feel left out. So it's kind of hard because it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like, just because you don't speak my language doesn't mean that I'm not gonna put the effort of communicating with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I think whatever is happening in life, like just having uh, people around, like community, friends, just getting to know people, having to build that up from uh, from being so fresh there. Yeah, I if I would love you and Jess to meet up because I've often thought from the other side of the ocean, I would love to meet up with Jess. um, and do, do you hula hoop at all? I know that Jess does a lot of markets and stuff and does so many cool things with hoops and with Spilly together. Jess and her partner do a lot of. I don't know, Jess. You'll have to tell us about where you're at, but you can definitely connect somehow. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, just having a just having people to connect with is it's just so important. And yeah, being new in any place, it's I've been living where I am for a while now, but um, and it's different. I speak the language as well, and I don't know. It's quite a different context, I would say. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Being an immigrant in this country is very I mean, it's already hard, but being here and being put into so many threats at once, it's harder.
Hmm.
But I just, like I said, I just live day by day and try to make my way out of it, and try to remember why I am here and why I decided to put myself into this situation.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember I
The
remember when I, like, right before I moved in here, I watched a movie about immigrants and I cried my eyes out because I was like, I'm about to leave this situation because I am inserting myself into that context.
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, why am I inserting myself into that context?
yeah. And I wonder, do you still have what was it before you left? The what made it what motivated you to make such a big move and start such a new journey? Um, and how it, like what you said about being able to hold that, like why did you want to do it to um, I wonder is there
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
simple way you could kind of um, communicate to us to be like what is it
Move me
that yeah
to
like
be here.
what moved you literally exactly what kind of incentivized that such a big decision.
I think there were a lot of reasons. Like, it wasn't just one, it was a lot of reasons. Um, because I've been an immigrant before, like in Europe and then Latin America, and then I already separated myself from my country emotionally. So I already kind of
Mm.
knew that I like being taken out of my comfort zone. Like, I like adventures and I like exploring, and I get and I like putting myself into a situation that's gonna put me, I don't want to say survival mode, but kind of, because I know that that's gonna make me create a lot of new ways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know and I'm aware, even when I was back in my country, like I used to just, I love getting lost in, like, in the highway or just walking or whatever, because getting lost and being taken out of your comfort zone geographically, it's gonna make you, like, it's gonna make you grow internally and in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
I already kind of knew that's, I love doing that. I love putting myself into those situations, right? um but then also, a lot of my private collectors were here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pain in the ass, because being in Colombia, like, this is we're talking about a third country. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love my country, I love my culture, and I am, I admire every single artist that it's making their way in our country. Like, I totally and completely admire them. But that doesn't mean, like, I'm also aware of the reach, like the, what is that, like the engagement reach in terms of art in our culture.
Okay.
Like, I remember, like, when I used to live in Colombia, people, they wouldn't invest more than $100 in one of my drawings. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, like, big drawings and big paintings. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
they they wouldn't do that. And it's hard to be a full-time artist in a third, country. It's hard because people are already struggling so much with with everything, with food, financial finances, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, art, it's one of the least important things that they think. And
Yeah.
i i
On
don't
the
want
list
to
of
i don't want
priorities. Yeah.
to yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't want to say that it's impossible, because I do have a lot of friends that they're making their way out in our country, and I completely admire them. But I felt that I started having private collectors back in 2019. Like, since I've been selling my art worldwide since 2019. So I've been shipping to the US, to the UK, to the Netherlands. And even the shipping cost, like, I found amazing people that were genuinely interested in my art, and they would invest a $50 fee on shipment just to
Mm-hmm.
get my art. So they will invest, like, the 200 or $500 that my art was worth at the moment, plus the $50 fee for the
Mm-hmm.
shipment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, like, there's more appreciation in terms of purchasing and consuming art in the first world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an awful reality. Like, I wouldn't, if it was up to me, I wouldn't like it to be like that. But
Yeah.
that's the way it is. Like, that's the way it works. So I was like, I know that if I go to the US, I'm going to find more opportunities as an artist. I'm going to find more residencies, and then more art, more, my work, more workshops, and more financement. And, like, there's a lot of things that I know that this country can provide for me as an artist that my country can't.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I like to be out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to give a chance to actually making a living out of art.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what moved me to be here. Yeah, and just, like, I know this might sounds weird, and I know that a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but I do love this country. Like, I love the art culture in this country. I love going to New York and see all the art shows. I love going to New York and see all the Broadway shows and all the theater plays. And then I love how many museums you have in here. Like
Mm-hmm.
in Baltimore, just in Baltimore, we have so many museums, and in Bogota, you will get only a few ones. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know there's the art scene and the cultural scene in this country. It's amazing, and I do like this country. Like, of course, it's not perfect and it's scary, and there's a lot of people that make it harder to be here,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not regret it at
Yeah,
all.
that's good. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's good because that's my reality.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, in any situation that we find ourselves in, like, um, yeah, I'm still thinking about this way of like how do you find your way back to art, and I I know you're super fresh. Like I didn't realize that you were so recently moved to to Maryland.
Hmm.
Baltimore, is that the same? Is that a part of Baltimore, or how does that work?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Maryland is the state and
okay,
Baltimore is the city.
okay, okay. Um, yeah, I I had been away from Australia, where I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
for 4.5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
when I moved back there, it took like 2 years to feel like, oh, now kind of starting to feel settled and knowing my way around and building like the social, like there were so many things that it felt like at 2 years it felt like the peak of like, oh, this is, it's starting to feel like we've arrived, and that was when we left. um,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really, yeah, it was just it was quite a process of like figuring out like what do we like to do, who we hang out with, like um, where do we go to get our fresh food, and like that was an
Uh-huh.
interesting thing, like the market. There was this one market once a month that it was food, but it was also like art and craft stuff, and and for a while I was going there. I was actually selling flutes. It was before I had really focused on building on drawing. But I was
Mm-hmm.
going there once a month, and that market became like this central thing. Like once a month, there were just all these amazing people there, um, and how that was an interesting thing. And that was like this thing that I found after being there for a year, and then it took like another year before it really felt like vibrant and to really be integrated into being in that place. And so, yeah, you're, uh, yeah, I just wonder, like finding ways to connect, finding ways to find your way back to your artistic practice and what you want to express. Um, like I'm really curious to see how you develop with that, because I have noticed when you would share things, it was like, oh, amazing. Lena's got a show on and another show, and I recognize the work, um, because uh, I guess the your body of work that you had, that those were the pieces you were contributing. Um, yeah, and I'm really curious, like what the next thing is, how you choose to focus and um, find your way and what you're going to make. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
also it's like I started to say, it's been hard. I'm excited too because I feel like it's gonna be a lot of putting into work all the preaching that I actually do. You know
mm-hmm,
what I mean? Like I'm always telling people or artists or whatever, like, oh, you just have to explore and give yourself like the chance to try something new and play around. And I'm
yeah,
always
yeah,
saying like how it's so important to play around where you're creating. And then I found myself just repeating the process that felt comfortable for me for
okay,
so
yeah,
many
yeah,
years. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, that didn't feel enough for me anymore.
yeah,
Like, the process that I used to do, it wasn't feeling like fulfilling anymore. And then it was so hard to realize that it was just a matter of actually putting into work what I preach, which is just exploring. Like the other day, like that's why I'm enjoying the lives so much, because you're able to connect with
Mm-hmm.
people, and then you get different perspectives that you wouldn't have on your own, right? So the
Yeah.
other day, uh I've always painted in oils, right? I don't like acrylics, and I still don't like them really much, but I was doing the live just to try them out. And then this girl in the live, we were having this conversation, and then she said like, but there's no really rules into how you make art.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, I agree, but then in order to actually get the best out of a technique, you will have to follow some rules, right? And she's like, yeah, that's right, but then you have to allow yourself to break the rules so you can find new things. And I was like, that sounds so much obvious, and that sounds like something that I would have thought,
Mm-hmm.
but then why I'm not doing it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
just now, like why do I have to be like perfect? Like what I like about the live streaming and drawing live, it's like I give myself the chance to explore. Like somebody gave me these markers for Christmas last year, like in
Mm-hmm.
2024, and I used them to write, but not to paint. And this drawing wasn't working for me, and now I was like, what if I just use the marker and then try to do something with it? And I'm liking it now. And I know it sounds so easy to just like then do it, then explore, and then that's what I used to say. But then it's I don't know, it's weird. It's just giving myself actually the chance to explore and find a new way to make art, not
Mm-hmm.
just the way it used to work for me. Like, because I've been an artist for so long that it's like, oh, I already know how to paint this, I already know how to do this. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go back to painting that very same thing. And then I was preaching to everybody, like, oh no, but you have to play around, and then you have to blah, blah, blah. And then I wasn't even doing it myself.
I
And
wonder. I
when
wonder about
I,
your like your digital and traditional work because you have such a clear, like, expressive voice in the digital, which is I it feels to me quite different than your traditional work. Um, and so within what you're already really familiar with, there is also a range of like different ways that you work and approach things. Um,
yeah, yeah. And then, but I wasn't giving myself the permission to explore. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I am like, I'm always preaching, like, hey, I do digital art this way, and then I do this like this, and then I do this like that. But I already developed an effective way to do all those things. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now it wasn't being enough. And instead of playing around, I was just so scared. I was like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
oh, then I'm just not gonna draw. Like, I'm gonna try tomorrow or whatever. And
Okay.
it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's just like, and maybe it's just try to find myself again in my creative process, just like try to find a new creative process that aligns more with who I am now, because
Mm-hmm.
I have changed a lot. Like I said, being an immigrant just puts you into the necessity of growing so much faster.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I lived like 6 years in just one. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to adjust this new me into the things that I like, and it's hard, but it's fun. It's been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting, and I know not all of your work, but a lot of your work has been self-portraiture, which is uh, really cool. And I even borrowed, like, what did I call the title of this live stream? I borrowed it from the live one about exploring self-expression. Um, and it's interesting that you are often, though not exclusively, the subject of your work, and then to be through going through this transformation and your whole new experience, and you know, what what you have just been going through in the past 2 years of becoming the current version of yourself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just wondering if there's some kind of, yeah, I don't know how you see the self-portraiture aspect of your work. I see you a lot in your work, and I know it's um, I don't know. There's something I
Yeah,
was just wondering
I
at the moment that
love.
it's maybe specifically interesting if a lot of your work is a self-portraiture, and then to be in that kind of state at the moment of being like, where are you? Who are you in this kind of new chapter of your life, and how that kind of becomes something new in your work as well.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Um, but like I love doing self portraits, and I still do. I love them. The thing is that like I was saying before, I wasn't aware that I had to be in a very good state of mind to do art.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that my mental health has been so bad the past year. Like I encounter myself with so many things that I haven't dealt with in years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if I told you this the last time, or maybe I said this in another podcast. I don't remember. But uh the reason why I started to do so many self-portraits at the beginning of my career was because I've been dealing with an eating disorder since I was 12 years old, right? So the self-portraits kind of gave me the it was a coping mechanism for me to deal with my eating disorder, like the body dysmorphia and then the perception of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to cope with that through my work, like because I had to I had to face myself in order, like it was either in the mirror on it or in pictures or in references. I had to face myself. So it was a way, to cope with that.
Yeah.
But I did that like early in my career. And that's why I love self portrait so much, and that's something that I'm always gonna do, is that I will always enjoy doing self portraits. But my mental health was so bad last year that I realized that I really need to be okay in order to do art. And
Mm-hmm.
then I kind of had a relapse on my eating disorder because I was doing so good like back in 2021, 22. I did so good for a couple of years. I want to say like maybe for 4 or 5 years. I went to therapy, like with an eating disorder therapist. I went to therapy. I, I thought that I already knew, like I already saw myself as a survivor from that situation. And the thing is that this past year with and like the past 2 years since I've been in this country, it has been so hard to be here that I found myself with uh the peak of an eating disorder again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I haven't um like I haven't been this bad in my eating disorder since I was probably 14 or 15 years old. And it has been really bad. And then I started therapy again, and I'm trying every single day to try to cope with that. But in order to, like, I've tried, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've tried to go back to to my self portraits, and I am trying to go back to all that. But it's hard when my mental health it has been so bad, and
Yeah.
it realized, like doing a self portrait, realize on the self image, like the perspective of the self image that I have, and
Hmm.
that's not existing right now. um it's hard because I really love doing self portraits, but then I know that if I put the like a really hard work into a self portrait right now, it's gonna become a trigger for my eating disorder.
Hmm.
So it's like trying to combine, like trying, it's not like trying to go back to the old ways, but it's trying to heal again from a lot of situations that I already thought that I went through that. And it's trying to revisit, like, my processes and my techniques and everything. And now my priority, I think, is just to be okay. And in order to do that, I have to allow myself the opportunity to go back to painting and drawing and creating, and then going live and chatting and talking about all these things, and then it's hard to go back, like to insert myself again into society. That's how I feel it. Because
Hmm.
I've been away from social media for that long, and that meant that I was isolated from everything. Like, I was even isolated from myself.
Hmm.
So it's trying to go back to all that. And hopefully, now that I'm in Maryland, I'm going to be able to have the enough stability to, uh, just do what I love to do, which is like
Hmm.
painting and drawing, and then being okay, and I don't know, reading and having a life, and then not being worried about surviving every single day, like
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
being worried about being an immigrant in this country, not being worried about my lawful situation, not being worried about my financial situation, not being so. Now that I've been here in Maryland, I've been here for like, I want to say a month longer, maybe like a month and a week. Now that I'm here, maybe I'm gonna be able to, I hope so, I think so,
Hmm.
that I'm gonna be able to go back to all of it slowly. And the lives are helping a lot with that, because I've been painting and drawing again almost every single day. And then I allow myself the possibility to just play around.
Yeah.
Like,
That's great.
like this little drawing, like, I'm allowing myself the possibility to just, just to make a drawing that I recently in one of my lives. I think one of the things about my art too now is that now that I have like now that I made myself a little name into the art world, then I created my own self expectations of what my art is supposed to look like. Like, I
Hmm.
know that everyone around me, like the community in Instagram and the art dealers or my friends or my family or whatever, everybody's just so excited or about anything that I do. People is gonna be like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what you're working on. I can't wait to see what you're doing," right?
Yeah.
But then I know it's not about everyone. It's about me. I used to be like, oh my god, so I have to create big art pieces all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
then if I draw something in my sketchbook, then it has to be like, oh my god, it has to be like this masterpiece that people are gonna be like, oh my god. And then yeah,
Yeah. So
I
you
did that to myself.
that you're creating just this yeah, a big kind of there's quite a weight to that expectation. Then
Yeah.
yeah, finding a playful way to come back to exploring. It sounds like it
Mm-hmm.
will be um,
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like I said, I put myself into those expectations. I put
yeah.
myself, like, I did that on myself. Like, nobody was like, "Oh my god." Lena, you have to make this amazing artwork. Nobody said that to me.
Yeah.
I did that to myself. And then I found myself then not creating,
Hmm.
because then I was like, oh my God, then I can just play around with, like, I can do a sketch because everybody's going to be like, I want to see your sketch. And then it's just like, it's weird. It's
Yeah,
like, why did I do that to myself? So now I'm trying to break out of the self expectation jail.
yeah, yeah. I think it's that is, yeah, moving away from the like the it, um it can be very paralyzing to have the kind of self expectation of this has to be good, or like I I I know how to do this, and it's got to be it's got to be something. um
Yeah, it's going to
and
be
and it's
great.
yeah, and it can be really humbling then. And for me, it's been in live streams as well. Like I can remember particular pieces that I've done where I've been like, oh, this is not very good. uh, um, when I first started live streaming, and I'd be like focusing on the conversation, and then just kind of doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, what am I actually doing? And then just being able to kind of relax into it, and then let go, try something new. Oh, Lena has. Are you still here, Lena? Um, Lena may pop back in, but we're also like nearing the end of the actual live stream part of this, and we're going to be heading over to Zoom in a moment. But yeah, thank you for being here, everyone, and it's been really interesting hearing about Lena's experience. Um, yeah, what an interesting space to be in, and the potential for just growing and finding a new perspective. Carl said, yeah, self-imposed pressure to make sure everything is good, enough of the portfolio, or you get imposter syndrome. Yeah, and that's it's so interesting, Carl, because some of the we were at the IMC together, and there was all these people doing incredible work, and I moved away from that kind of finished thing for some reason. It was like the quick sketching stuff
Hmm.
became a focus for me, and um, as a foundational step towards making something more finished. But then I enjoy the process of just like sketching so much, and I remember having these, like, being paralyzed at the second time I went to the illustration masterclass, because I was like, okay, I've learned stuff now, this can be good, it's supposed to be good. And it was just
Hmm.
it was so hard to do anything. um, and Scott Fisher watched me in my fear, and came up one day, and he was like, "Oh, would it be okay if I painted on your painting?" And I was like, "Please do." And he's
Oh
like, "It's
my
just
God, that's
yeah,
actually sounds really good, fun.
yeah,
I
yeah."
love it.
And then he was like, "You could do this, or you could do this." And he's just like, I was standing there, um, just kind of afraid to for it not to be as good as I like wanted it and imagined it to be. And in this context where all these people are doing incredible stuff, and he just kind of came up and just really relaxed. He's like, it's just paint and paper. Don't be afraid of it. Just do something. If you don't like it, start it again. Um, and that was like an incredible lesson, just to be able to be more playful in the approach. And I think particularly, yeah, sometimes when like getting to a state where it's like, okay, you can create these things, and you've had some kind of resonance, and people enjoy your work, and then to be at a point where it's like, oh, I thought I could do this, but like, why is this not um like this? Yeah, I don't know, what is it we're looking for, some kind of energy or some expression in the work. And then yeah, it's such an interesting point to be at, um and great to find ways to loosen up, and yeah, just to explore. It's really cool watching what you're doing at some point, because from what I'm seeing, sometimes the resolution is not perfect, but it almost looks like print, like the some of the lines, like it's a lino cut, and it's really
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm liking it. Like I'm saying, like it feels nice to just play around, like
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like nobody's saying like, "Oh, I'm not gonna sell this drawing." Nobody's
yeah,
gonna be like, and then that I think that's why I appreciate so much. Like, well, not only your podcast, but like any kind of streaming where artists are just hanging around and talking, and it's the fact is like oh my god, Lina Coy is gonna be. I'm gonna invite Lina Coy because we're gonna see how she actually makes a drawing. I'm like, don't put that on me. I just wanna be there to just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanna be
yeah,
there
yeah.
to hang around and then have a good time and then see your amazing drawing. I like your drawing. That's pretty cool, actually. I like it better. I like it more than mine.
uh, Thanks. It's
So
yeah, and
yeah,
it's yeah, just that the making while yeah, it's kind of something is created. It's like it's part of the conversation and just being here together. Kiki just asked about Zoom. We're about to head to Zoom. I did put it in
cool.
the link for the Drawn Together VIPs is on the Patreon, and I can send it to you after this, Kiki, if you don't find it. Um, yeah, because we're about to head over there. And thank you to everyone who's been watching and drawing along, and being here to listen and participate. It's always great being
Yeah,
here,
thank you so
being with
much.
you.
Like I didn't I first of all I didn't know that I was gonna encounter people from Baltimore in this. Like that's so amazing. That's so cool. And then I didn't know so many people were gonna be watching. But thank you so much guys and everyone who listened to me and everyone who will listen to this in the future just to I don't know, hear me rambling about how the struggles of being an immigrant artist in the US. It's
No,
hard.
yeah, well, yeah, it's um, even though the internet is also here and it's real, it's important to have the in-person connections in Baltimore. But always get feel free to just chat, get in touch, and I think that has been an incredible um, support. And I know there's a lot of other stuff going on social media, which we just kind of touched
Yeah,
upon.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and Carl had also said earlier, being torn about wanting to stay informed and not making himself too depressed about what's going on. So taking a break from media at times, um, and it's so interesting. The I I see stuff that's going on. It's intense, and I feel like it's important to be informed. But at the same time, there's this incredible connectivity and being able to share time, share like a creative passion, and just go through all of this stuff together. Like it's been really, um, yeah, interesting to hear about your experience and knowing when we talked last time that it was just before, and now you've gone through the reality of this shift and adjustment and a lot of change, and knowing that we can,
Yeah.
we're just as far as the phone away, can be in touch, and yeah, stay connected. And I'm honored to be able to share this with you, Lena, and everyone watching. Um, yeah, Stina
Well,
says
thank you
that.
so much for sharing your space with me and having patience with me with my bad technology. I'm just, I'll figure it out eventually. Maybe we can redo this in more years. We
Yeah,
did this
yeah.
2 years ago, so maybe 2 years from now we can redo this, and I'm finally gonna have my technology figured out. That would be cool. Just
that
like every
yeah, that
two
would be
years, do
amazing to
this. That
to
would be
touch
nice.
base, and everyone in the chat, because I know Stina was here last time and did a drawing of you with a hummingbird. Um, and if everyone comes back every 2 years and we just keep yeah, seeing what the next part of the unfolding of your path has been. Um, Stina said, "Be kind to yourself, Lena. You're going through a lot, and a love heart." Um, Chris says, "Both look good. I need to do more portrait studies using different mediums. I have figure drawings and comics at the moment." Everyone who's been drawing along, please tag us. I think our links are in the description of this
Yes.
video, because we'd love to see your work. So tag Lena, tag me, and tag the Drawn Together show. Um, and we'll be back here for another episode mid-February. And yeah, stay in touch. Let's keep creating stuff together. And thank you everyone for being here. And for those of you coming to the Zoom party, the after party, we're just about to go there now. So those of you who just tuned in, because I saw like 4 people just joined, you can rewind this and go to the beginning and watch and listen as these portraits are created and hear about Lina's experience. And thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate you. And Lina, do you want to maybe show us you and wave
Yeah.
before we head on over to Zoom?
Hold
It's
on. Hold on.
next, yeah, as you said, next time maybe we'll have the tech figured out.
Yeah,
And
maybe next time we can figure. I don't. Okay, so I don't know how to flip my camera. That's
could
kind of
just
sad.
could just turn the whole
So
phone
I'm just
around.
gonna do this. So thank you, everybody.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging around and listening to me and listening to all my struggles and path. And thank you, Dylan, for having me again. And then I'm excited to see what this podcast becomes in 2 years. Honestly, I feel like we should do this every 2 years.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful idea, and I wish you a lot of growth and amazing things for the coming 2 years. I'm sure we'll be in touch, but I look forward
Yes, thank you so
to
much.
catching up again for
Nice.
what would it be? Episode 100. You were episode 20, episode 60, maybe the 100th episode will be with Lina. Let's
There
see.
you go. There you go.
Cool. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. We're about to head over to Zoom. So if you are drawn to the VIP or you want to become one, or past guests are also invited, head on over and we're just going to keep chatting and keep making stuff together over in Zoom. So we'll see you there. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lina. Bye-bye. All right.